Several times a year I get asked the question about marble stones that are typically from the 1800s that are so poorly kept or have deteriorated so that they need replacing. If that's the case you find yourself in your project, then stay tuned as I may have a possible solution. Well, greetings from South Carolina. This is David Gillespie again, your neighborhood stone cutter. Quite often in the line of work that I'm engaged in, I get the privilege to do some really fun and interesting things. And this stone is one of those fun and interesting pieces, these two stones. So if you don't know me, I carve gravestones with a chisel and mallet by hand only. Hand draw each letter and hand carve each letter. Been doing this for about 20 years now, thanks to the Lord. And I wanted to show you what is going out today. I'm going to be crating these up and shipping these to Michigan. Okay, as was typical in the 1800s, especially the 1830s, 40s, and 50s, the lettering is completely different than the lettering that I typically carve, which are skinny and more Roman type letters. So these letters here are fatter, chunkier, the result of the Industrial Revolution, and what you see carved typically in marble. So these two stones are actually replacements for the two original stones that are in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. And the originals were carved in marble, and as we all know that over a period of 150, 200 years, marbles, even with letters this fat, can deteriorate to such that they're hard to read. And so the family member directed me to want to carve reproductions of the originals, so the originals could be placed into the Historical Society, I think, there in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. This is husband and wife, John Baptiste Vernier and Catherine Vernier. And on a personal note, I think Grosse Pointe, Michigan is where Henry Ford raced as a young man and beat the world champion race car driver and established himself there as in the early 1900s, maybe 1909 or something like that. So that really put Henry Ford on the map in Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
I got myself in a groove here.
You got to contort.
You do. I mean that's lesson number one, is that I didn't really realize the contortions you have to go through to do this.
You really have to get pretty flexible. So literally what we did was I had Mr. Verney, the descendant of these folks here, take and do a gravestone rubbing. Now, you know me by now. I'm not a big fan of gravestone rubbings because they tend to hurt the stone. But in this case, we're replacing the stone, so I felt it to be ethically justifiable. So what he did was he just took a rubbing of the entire stone and brought it to me, and I used that rubbing to create a template, in this case, of the exact letter forms that were used back in 1834. So literally, you have a reproduction. So in this case, I'm actually following the exact lines of the original stone, the exact width and height of the original stone. But the beauty of this stone is this one is carved in slate. So because it's carved in slate, I would expect it to last a lot longer. And that's the whole principle behind us carving slate, is you should expect it to hold up a lot longer than marble. Because you've seen, as well as me, out in the cemeteries, the stones that we really would love to read are usually the ones that are the marbles, and the ones that are so far obliterated in cases that you can't read them any longer. So I reproduced this one not in marble, but instead in slate, so that the information and the feel of the original is still there, but with the longevity of a piece of slate. So this is the stone for his wife, Catherine, and she actually died before he did. She died in 1831, and then John Baptiste died in 1834. So about to crate these up to go into Michigan, and hopefully, Lord willing, in a month or two, these will be installed, and it would be nice someday to go and visit these just to see how they turned out in situ. So as you can see here on Catherine stone, each letter is what I would consider a block letter. It has no curves except for the obvious O's and E's, but everything has been truncated down to linear forms, and so it is a three-dimensional letter because it's carved in V shapes, so it's very geometrical, these type of letters. And it was just the style there in the 19th century and used up until early 20th century. So this lettering style was king from, let's say, 1800 to about 1910. And the last thing is, on average, most gravestones are meant to be read from a close proximity, so we'll say 3 feet. But these, the letters, are so large and the contrast so great from the white of the letter to the dark of the slate that they actually almost read like a billboard. You could probably step back about 100 feet almost and still be able to read most every word on these stones. So thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. It greatly helps the channel out. And if you have any particular stone cutting projects like this that you would like to replace or reproduce a stone in marble of your loved one that has been destroyed or has been flaked or sugared away that you can't read it, just contact me in the link in the description below, and let's get started to work on that stone for you. Thank you for watching.